Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishpraya Krishna Bastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaur Bani Pacharne Nirvishesha Shunyabadi Pasitari Shatarne. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaurabhata Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Jnana Tirmandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha Kalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vyavacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Radhe 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 Sham. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda. Greetings and salutations. If you're new here, my name is Dan. I used to be a monk for 10 years. I'm still a monk. I'm still a monk basically because I'm single. I practice celibacy. So I'm basically still a monk. I just don't live in a temple. Yeah, true. I have a sense of humor, guys. So if you don't like a sense of humor, then we'll probably not get along. Whatever. Okay. Reading from Bhagavad-Gita As It Is. The great sages, therefore, have written so many Vedic literatures, such as the Puranas, etc. The Puranas are not imaginative; they are historical records. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is the following verse: Maya Mudga Jivir Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan Javira Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. The forgetful living entities or conditioned souls have forgotten their relationship with the Supreme Lord, and they are engrossed in thinking of material activities. That's what's going on in this material world, guys. You have forgotten, well, the conditioned souls, many people, they have forgotten the relationship with the Supreme Lord. But most people, people have forgotten the relationship with the Supreme Lord, Krishna, and they're engrossed in thinking of material activities. They're thinking about materialistic things like, making money. They're thinking about money, entertainment, sex. That's what materialistic people are thinking about. Okay. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. Don't shoot the messenger. Just to transfer their thinking power to the spiritual sky, Krishna has given a number of Vedic literatures. First, he divided the Vedas into 4. Then he explained them in the Puranas, and for the less capable people, he wrote the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, there is given the Bhagavad Gita. Then all the Vedic literature is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra, and for future guidance, he gave a natural commentation on the Vedanta Sutra called Srimad Bhagavatam. We must always engage our minds in reading these literatures. Okay, this is an order. This is an order, guys. We must always engage our minds in reading these Vedic literatures like I'm doing right now. Just as materialistic engage their minds in reading newspapers, magazines, and so many materialistic literatures, that's what materialistic people do. We must transfer our reading to these literatures, which are given to us by Vyasadeva. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. That is the only way suggested by the Lord, and he guarantees the result. There is no doubt. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudya cha. My arpita man budir mam evaisyas amsamshaya. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me, and at the same time, you should continue your prescribed duty and fight. With your mind and activities always fixed on me, and everything engaged in me, you will attain to me without any doubt. He does not advise Arjuna to simply remember him and give up his occupation. No, the Lord never suggests anything impractical. In this material world, in order to maintain your body, one has to work. We all have to work, right? We all have to work. Human society is divided according to work into 4 divisions of social orders: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Okay. The Brahmana class or intelligent class is working in one way. That's me, guys. I'm very intelligent. Okay. The Kshatriya or administrative class is working in another way. I was also a Marine, so what am I? I don't know. or administrative class is working in another way. I also have a business. Oh, and the mercantile class and the laborers are tending to their specific duties. In the human society, whether one is a laborer, a merchant, a warrior, an administrator, or a farmer, or even if one belongs to the highest class and is a literary man, a scientist, or a theologian, he has to work in order to maintain his existence. We all have to work in order to maintain our existence, whether you like it or not, guys. See, if I was God, we wouldn't have to work. We would just be like, if you want money, snap. But, I'm not God, so, God set up this world where we have to work, whether you like it or not. You have to work. Okay. The Lord therefore tells Arjuna that he need not give up his occupation, but while he was engaged in his occupation, he should remember Krishna. If he doesn't practice remembering Krishna, he will be struggling for existence. So no matter what your job is, no matter what you're doing, think of Krishna as much as you can. That's the point. Chant Hare Krishna, think of Krishna whenever you can, as much as possible. Then it will not, okay. If he doesn't practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. Yeah, if you're struggling to remember Krishna, throughout your life, then why do you expect to think of Krishna like at the time of death? Because you're not practicing. You got to practice thinking of Krishna. So at the time of death, whenever that comes, which could come at any time, it'll be easy for you to think of Krishna or God. Okay. If you don't practice Krishna consciousness and you're watching this, God, Krishna, same thing. God has many different names. Okay. Some people call God Krishna. Some people call God whatever, Jehovah, Govinda, whatever. Lord Chaitanya also advises this. He says that one should practice remembering the Lord by chanting the names of the Lord always. The names of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So Lord Krishna's instruction to Arjuna to remember me and Lord Chaitanya's instruction to always chant the names of the Lord Krishna are the same instruction. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name. There is no difference because Krishna and Krishna's name are non-different. Okay, Hare Krishna, when you're chanting Hare Krishna, it's not different. Okay, so, but you got to chant purely. You got to chant purely, right? That's the thing. But just try your best. When you chant, just try to chant purely in that moment, because all you got is a moment, right? Everything else is history. The past is the past. What is it? What do they say? The past is history. The future is a mystery. All we have is the moment. So whenever you're chanting, just chant in the moment. Don't worry about the past. Then you can chant purely. You can chant purely in the moment, because you can be Krishna conscious whenever, right? Like Prabhupada says, you can be Krishna conscious in a second. So forget all your past mistakes. Forget all everything. Just chant purely in the moment. Okay, that's it. Lord Chaitanya also advised this. He says, one should practice remembering the Lord by chanting the names of the names of the Lord always. The names of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So Krishna's instruction to Arjuna to remember me and Lord Chaitanya's instruction to always chant the names of the Lord Krishna are the same instruction. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna because Krishna and Krishna's name are non-different. In the absolute status, there is no difference between reference and referent. Therefore, we have to practice remembering the Lord always, 24 hours a day, by chanting his names and molding our life's activity in such a way that we can always remember him, that we can remember him always. Like I have pictures of Krishna in my little office space right here. Okay, I can look at Krishna. Right? You should surround yourself with pictures of Krishna, and chant as much as you can. Think of Krishna as much as you can. It's a practice, right? Everything's a practice. See, just like he says, therefore we have to practice. Like Srila Prabhupada says, we have to practice. Everything's a practice. We have to practice remembering the Lord always. It's a practice, my friends. 24 hours a day by chanting his names and molding our life's activities in such a way that we can remember him always. How is this possible? The Acharya gives the following example. If a married woman is attached to another man, or if a man has attachment for a woman other than his wife, then the attachment is to be considered very strong. Hopefully you've never done that. Hopefully you guys have never done that. All right. One with such an attachment is always thinking of the loved one. The wife who is thinking of her lover is always thinking of meeting him, even while she is carrying out her household chores. In fact, she carries out her household work even more carefully, so her husband will not suspect her attachment. Similarly, right? If someone's like they're involved, they're cheating and stuff, then they're extra careful to make sure like they're extra careful about everything so they don't get caught, right? Similarly, we should always remember the supreme lover, Sri Krishna, and at the same time perform our material duties very wisely. You see how Srila Prabhupada says the supreme lover? Okay. So who is the supreme lover? Is it your wife? Is it your husband? No, it's Krishna. Krishna is the supreme lover. So if you want to be a romantic, be romantic with Krishna, you know, in a spiritual sense. That's a deep thing. Okay, that's a deep thing. Sri Krishna. Wait. Okay, a strong sense of love is required here. If we have a strong sense of love for the Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty and at the same time remember him. But we have to develop that sense of love. You have to develop that sense of love for Krishna. Arjuna, for instance, was always thinking of Krishna. He was the constant companion of Krishna, and at the same time, he was a warrior. Krishna did not advise him to give up fighting and go to the forest to meditate. When Lord Krishna delineates the yoga system to Arjuna, Arjuna says that the practice of the system is not possible for him. Arjuna Uvacha, Yo yams yogas traya prokta samyena madhusudana atasyaham na pashami chanchala chachala chwa satim stiram. Or Arjuna said, O Madhusudan, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and endurable for me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Is your mind restless and unsteady? Because we have like 70,000 thoughts in our mind every day. But the Lord says, Yoginam api sarvashe mad gantenantaratmana. Shradavan bhajate yomam same yoktatamo mata. Okay. Done reading Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. Jai Bhagavad-Gita ki jai. Krishna and Arjuna on the chariot. Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Now we will read from Srimad Bhagavatam. First canto. Okay. First canto, chapter 7. We are in the purport. We are on the purport of text. Okay. We're in chapter 7, text 6, purport. Okay. Continuing on, my friends. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He saw, therefore, his different energies, namely the internal energy, the marginal energy, and the external energy. He also saw his different plenary portions and parts of the plenary portions, namely his different incarnations also. And he specifically observed the unwanted miseries of the conditioned souls who are bewildered by the external energy. And at last he saw the remedial measure for the conditioned souls, namely the process of devotional service. It is a great transcendental science and begins with the process of hearing and chanting the name, fame, glory, etc. That's the most important thing, hearing and chanting. Just like I'm chanting right now by reading, and you're hearing. So that's the most important thing. Hearing, chanting the holy names, hearing and chanting the scriptures. Okay. Of the personality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Revival of the dormant affection or love of Godhead does not depend on the mechanical system of hearing and chanting, but it solely and wholly depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord. So at the end of the day, everything depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord. Like you can't just like chant your way back to Godhead, right? Like if Krishna will he'll accept you or he won't accept you. Even if you chant even if you chant Hare Krishna all day, he doesn't have to accept you. It's his choice. He's independent. When the Lord is fully satisfied with the sincere efforts of the devotee, he may endow him with his loving transcendental service. Okay. So when the Lord is satisfied with your efforts, he may or may not, it's his choice, endow you with his loving service. But of course he wants to help you because he's compassionate. Because in many places, Srila Prabhupada says Krishna wants you back more than you want to go back. So, but even with the prescribed forms of hearing and chanting, there is one mitigation of the superfluous and unwanted miseries of material existence. Okay, but even with the prescribed forms of hearing and chanting, there is at once mitigation of the superfluous and unwanted miseries of material existence. So if you want to get rid of the miseries of this world, start hearing and chanting more. Such mitigation of material affection does not wait for development of transcendental knowledge. Rather, knowledge is dependent on devotional service for the ultimate realization of the supreme truth. Okay. It's not knowledge alone, it's mercy. It's mercy of Krishna. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishna parama purashe bhaktir upadyate pumsra shoka mahabayapaha. Translation: Yasyam, the Vedic literature, vai, certainly, shruyamanayam, simply by giving an oral reception, Krishna, unto Lord Krishna, parama, supreme, purushe, unto the personality of Godhead, bhakti, feelings of devotional service, utpadyate, sprout up, pumsha, of the living being, shoka, lamentation, moha, illusion, baya, fearlessness, apaha, that which extinguishes. Translation: simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Purport: there are various senses of which the ear is the most effective. The ear is the most effective. This sense works even when a man is deep asleep. Ooh. That's why people listen to like meditations and stuff while they're sleeping. I should probably do that. It's a good idea. When one can protect himself from the hands of an enemy while awake, but while asleep, one is protected by the ear only. The importance of hearing is mentioned here in connection with attaining the highest perfection of life, namely getting free from three material pangs. Everyone is full of lamentation at every moment. He is after the mirage of illusionary things, and he is always afraid of his supposed enemy. There are primary symptoms of material disease, and it is definitely suggested herein that simply by hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, one gets attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And as soon as this is affected, the symptoms of material diseases disappear. Srila Vyasadeva saw the all-perfect personality of Godhead, and in this statement, the all-perfect personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is clearly confirmed. The ultimate result of devotional service is to develop genuine love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Love is a word which is often used in relation with man and woman, and love is the only word that can be properly used to indicate the relation between Lord Krishna and the living entities. So love, it's all about love, guys. All you need is love. Love. The real love is between Krishna and the living entities, us. We're living entities, guys. Woo! Okay, so we're spirit souls. So that's love. True love is that. That's the real love. This man and women stuff, it's fake love, guys. Sorry. Yeah, so that's pure love, guys. Love between Krishna and us. Yay! The living entities are mentioned as Prakriti in the Bhagavad-Gita, and in Sanskrit, Prakriti is a feminine object. You are feminine. You are a woman. The Lord is always described as Parampara Purusha, or the supreme male personality. There's only one male, guys. That's God. So we're all women. Yay! Okay, it's hard to understand, because especially for me, because I'm in a male body, but like, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Thus, the affection between the Lord and the living entities is something like that between the male and the female. Therefore, the term love of Godhead is quite appropriate. Loving devotional service to the Lord begins with hearing about the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and the subject matter heard about him. The Lord is absolute in all respects, and there is no difference between him and the subject matter heard about him. Therefore, hearing about him means immediate contact with him by the process of vibration of the transcendental sound. And the transcendental sound is so effective that it acts at once by removing all material affections mentioned above. As mentioned before, a living entity develops a sort of complexity by material association, and the illusory engagement of the material body is accepted as an actual fact. Under such false complexity, the living beings under different categories of life become illusioned in different ways. Even the most developed stage of human life, the same illusion prevails in the form of many isms and divides the loving relationship with the Lord, and thereby divides the loving relationship between man and man. It's a lot. By hearing the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, this false complexity of materialism is removed, and the real peace in society begins, which politicians aspire for so eagerly in so many political situations. Ooh, the politicians are catching strays. The politicians want a peaceful situation between man and nation, but at the same time, because of too much attachment for material domination, there is illusion and fearfulness. Ooh, they want material domination. They want to dominate. Therefore, the politicians' peace conference cannot bring about peace in society. It can only be done by hearing See, guys, this is the only way you can get peace. It can only be done by hearing the subject matter described in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The foolish politicians, politicians are catching strays, my friends. The foolish politicians may go on holding peace and summit conferences for hundreds of years, but they will fail to achieve success. Oh, got them. Yeah, you're not going to get peace like that, guys. You can only get peace by reading Srimad Bhagavatam and practicing the principles within. Ouch. That's going to hurt some egos, right? But we're not here to stroke egos, guys. We're here to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. For help us God. Okay, now we're reading from Krishna book. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Ramachandra, he appeared in the family descending of the sun god known as the Raghu Vamsha. And when he appeared as Lord Krishna, he did so in the family known as the Yadu Vamsha. There's a long list of kings of the Yadu Vamsha in the 9th canto, 24th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. All of them are great, powerful kings. Krishna's father's name was Vasudeva, son of Surasena, descending from the Yadu dynasty. Actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not belong to any dynasty of this material world, but the family in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears becomes famous by his grace. For example, sandalwood is produced in the states of Malaya. Sandalwood has its own qualifications apart from Malaya, but because, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Malaya, I don't know. Where'd I go? But because accidentally this wood is mainly produced in the states of Malaya, it is known as the Malayan sandalwood. Similarly, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, belongs to everyone, but just as the sun rises from the east, although there are other directions from which it could rise, so by his own choice, the Lord appears in a particular family, and that family becomes famous. As explained above, when Krishna appears, all his plenary expansions appear with him. Krishna appeared along with Baladev, who is known as his elder brother. Balaram is the origin of Sankarshan, of the quadruple expansion. Balaram is also the plenary expansion of Krishna. In this book, the attempt will be made to show how Krishna appeared in the family of the Yadu dynasty and how he displayed his transcendental characteristics. This is very vividly described in Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the 10th canto. And thus the basis of this book will be the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The pastimes of the Lord are generally heard and relished by liberated souls. Those who are conditioned souls are interested in reading stories of the material activities of some common man. Although similar narrations describing the transcendental activities of the Lord are found in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas, the conditioned souls still prefer to study ordinary narrations. They are not so interested in studying the narrations of the pastimes of the Lord Krishna. And yet, the descriptions of the pastimes of Lord Krishna are so attractive that they are relishable for all classes of men. So if you don't like to hear about Krishna, you should understand that you're very materialistic. Okay? There are 3 classes of men in this world. One class consists of liberated souls. Another consists of those who are trying to be liberated. That's me. And the third class consists of materialistic men. Sometimes me. Okay. Whether one is liberated or is trying to be liberated or is even grossly materialistic, the pastimes of Lord Krishna are worth studying. Liberated souls have no interest in materialistic activities. The impersonalist theory that after liberation one becomes inactive and need not hear anything does not prove that a liberated person is actually inactive. A living soul cannot be inactive. He is active either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state. A diseased person, for example, is also active, but his activities are all painful. The same person when freed from the disease condition is still active, but in a healthy condition, the activities are full of pleasure. Similarly, the impersonalists only seek to get free from the disease conditioned activities, but they have no information of activities in the healthy condition. Those who are actually liberated and in full knowledge take to hearing the activities of Krishna. Such engagement is pure spiritual activity. It is essential for persons who are actually liberated to hear about the pastimes of Krishna. That is the supreme relishable subject matter for one in the liberated state. Also, if persons who are trying to be liberated hear the such narrations as the Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which I already read, then their path of liberation becomes very clear. The Bhagavad-Gita is the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam. By studying the Gita, one becomes fully conscious of the position of Lord Krishna, and when he is situated at the lotus feet of Krishna, he understands the narrations of Krishna as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya therefore advised his followers that their business is to propagate Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means narrations about Lord Krishna. There are 2 Krishna Kathas, narrations spoken by Krishna and narrations spoken about Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita is a narration or philosophy on the science of God, spoken by Krishna himself. Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration about the activities and transcendental pastimes of Krishna. Both are Krishna Katha. It is the order of Lord Chaitanya that Krishna Katha should be spread all over the world, because if the conditioned souls suffering under the pangs of material existence take to Krishna Katha, then their path of liberation will be open and clear. The purpose of presenting this book is primarily to induce people to understand Krishna, or Krishna Katha, because thereby they can become freed from material bondage. This Krishna Katha will also be very much appealing to the most materialistic persons, because Krishna's pastime with the gopis, cowherd girls, are exactly like the loving affairs between young girls and boys within this material world. Actually, the sex feeling found in human society is not unnatural, because this same sex feeling is there in the original personality of Godhead. Okay, so everything comes from Krishna. The feeling, the sex feeling, that has its origin, that comes from Krishna too. Everything comes from Krishna, guys. But here it's perverted. It's deep. It's deep. Okay, don't try to understand it with your mundane intelligence. Okay, don't try to understand all this stuff with your materialistic intelligence. You got to purify your heart before you can understand clearly. That comes through hearing and chanting, my friends. Okay, so let's chant. Chant, chant, chant. Can't, can't, can't. Can you chant or can you can't? Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhatta Vrinda. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham Jaya Tulsi Maharani Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Muna Devi Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Nittai Gaura Haribo Nittai Gaura Haribo Nittai Gaur Premanandi Haribo Jai Radhe Sham Jai Radhe Jai Sham Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Jai Nittai Jai Gaur Jai Shri Gamayapur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hare Bol Jai Shri Radhe Sham Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Govinda Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe Shama Sundar Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hare Bol Jai Shri Radhe Sham Hare Krishna. I'm proof that you can be very happy, peaceful, and full of joy, even if you're by yourself. I'm living proof of that. Gauranga!